Hi, I'm James Kuntz, and I'm the proud owner of this company with my wife Ramonda. I've been doing this since 1980. Didn't plan it, it just happened. I ended up helping out a friend of mine. Next thing I know, I was running the company. Next thing I know, I was buying out my competitor, Kramer Automotive. We just took off from there.
Is that when you guys came together, Kuntz and Kramer?
I bought out Kramer.
Oh, you did? Okay, cool.
It was pretty cool. Everyone thought we were partners, but really I had bought him out. And we evolved into moving to Edmonton, opened up a shop in Edmonton, and then we expanded into Calgary. Kuntz and Kramer was quite a ride. Learned a lot about the diesel engine business, and in fact, at one time we were Cummins OEM dealer, Detroit OEM dealer, and aftermarket. So our whole mandate was to serve our customers with economical solutions. So depended on the customer's needs is what we delivered. And we also tried to get along with everyone. Our allies would be, instead of competitors, we treated them like allies. And it worked out great. We had a lot of fun, met a lot of people, did a lot of stuff. Kuntz and Kramer sold off to the big boys in the East. And I left the company at the end of '98 and joined Ramonda and OnTrack. And we changed the name to OnTrack Kuntz and Company. So Ramonda is the president of OnTrack, and I was basically a deal maker. So my handle is now deal maker.
Hi, my name is Ramonda Kuntz, and I started in the used truck sales business in 1994 and started my own company, OnTrack, Ramonda Kuntz Inc. in October of 1996. Welcome to OnTrack. Well, I started in 1993. I was a new mom, and I had been working actually 12-hour shifts at the women's shelter, and James said to me, come work with me, and I said, I'm not going to be your secretary, so if you want me to work with you, you have to teach me how to sell things. So he taught me how to sell trucks. And so we started with the Hino truck, the medium duty, and he went all over it with me, and we had lots of lessons driving down the road where James would tell me how like the pistons go like this, and he'd tell me all the whole details of how everything went, and I had no clue, because literally I came from where you get in a car and you turn a key and that's where you go, and I had no idea like what all this was in his world. And so I started, and then my very first truck I sold was January of 1994. My son was 6 months old, Adam, and I remember saying to James, I sold the truck, but it's like, you have to do the walk around because I have no idea what I'm going to tell this person, and I'm going to learn. So I just walked with him and learned what I had sold. And I guess my gift was I could just hear what the customer wanted, and I could sell them at that time. I mean, obviously I've learned some since then. I ended up being James's Hino department head for a few years after that. I ran that department for him with Kuntz and Kramer. And then when they decided to sell, I started my own company in 1996, which was OnTrack, Ramonda Kuntz Inc. at that time, and all I did was buy and sell trucks, and I subletted all my work, actually to Kuntz and Kramer primarily to repair the trucks. And then obviously the repair shop side of things, and we added in our fuel shop, which was something he hadn't done in his previous company, so that was a new thing for us. So that's how we got going, and then we had to change the name at that point because Kuntz, I wanted to honor, James joining in, and we didn't really need Ramonda in there anymore because now James was joining me, and company for us is the people that we work with, so like our staff and those that support what we do for the world, is to give people cost-effective solutions for what they're doing in this industry. So that's how I started.
We've got a few interesting things here, like packers and forklifts and cranes and graders and all kinds of neat things to help support our business. There's a bucket truck around the corner here somewhere. We got a water truck, 2 gravel trucks, and really the reason we have all this stuff is to support our business. We've built a lot of roads here. We've moved a lot of dirt here, and then this crane came out of Burnaby, BC. They couldn't get anybody to buy it because the logistics of getting it out of there. We took off a big tank off of a triple Tridem truck. So that crane has been a great tool.
The other thing that I'm really proud of is our loaders. I wish I'd have bought a loader 30 years ago. Best tool for a wrecking yard is a loader. So we're slowly building up our fleet of tools for the company, I tell Ramonda. We need that.
Yeah, so a little quick before and after shot. If you just have a quick look here, Jonah, you'll see some before, how engines are just everywhere. And then, of course, our latest edition for cold storage will show you how we're getting them out of the elements and getting them organized and where everybody can find them, not just me. That's a good idea. The story behind this facility, this is cold storage. Well, the warehouse that we're going to show you later was supposed to be a cold storage building. Then it was, well, honey, really, we need a heated building. Well, honey, really, we need this, we need that. So after we built the warehouse, well, then we still needed cold storage, so that's what this ended up being. So, honey, it won't be that much. We need it. Well, then we needed cement floor, and then we needed shelving, and so here it is. Cost us more than we anticipated, but what doesn't? It's the long-term benefit to the company that this will protect our inventories, be more organized so we can find stuff and serve our customers better. So that's why we're sitting in this nice new cold storage facility full of engines.
We put the engines into here to keep them out of the weather at this point, because our goal is to be starting our teardown shop here in the next couple months. And so in that, we will be parting out our engines. So that's why you see the guys coming in and just getting a part from them now. Each one of our engines are on a Excel spreadsheet, so we can tell you what's on it, and we keep track of, like, if a guy comes in and takes off a major component, we'll put that into the spreadsheet to keep track of it that way. And then our goal is to be able to take these pieces and tear them down, and so that we can list them by the individual parts, so people can call on, a casting or a housing, and we can supply that way. We will also be, rebuilding some cylinder heads, some injectors as part of that tear down. So we'll tear down, do some rebuilding, but also just keeping it as quality used parts.
Basically, we are a glorified recycling department here. Bring them in, qualify the parts, and get them back into the system. In any of our expansions now, you can see we've invested in new shelving, and everything's all engineered. It's all to code and stuff, which has made it that much more of a challenge for us to do. But it's investing in the future for the business to do it right up front.
I assume you guys have some engines out sitting in the field too. Are those planning to come in here?
Those legacy engines waiting for opportunity. That's like the dusty old bottle of wine down below the cellar that no one looks at because it's covered in dust.
Right.
And all of a sudden, hoo-ah. Right?
What he's got outside is the old Detroits,
Right.
like
Two-cycle.
which is like really old. But believe it or not, we've had a lot of come back on that work in the last few months. Like, guys are working on, what did you sell? Just like 8B71.
671s, 871s, 692s, 892s. We got you covered in that department. Well, we're quite proud of Lou III. It's our third tow truck. Really, the first tow truck belonged to one of our associates known as JD. He lived with a tow truck. The tow truck was in his family, and he joined our operations. In fact, Lou 1 was an old auto car with a 220 Cummins and a 4 and a 4. And believe it or not, I rode in the passenger seat all the way to Vancouver and back to pick up a glider kit. So that was an experience. And then we replaced the old auto car with a Freightliner with a different style of wrecker. And then Lou III is, well, it's a more modernized machine that we can utilize to support our customer base. We don't advertise we're in the towing business, but we do use it to support our customer base again. Towed many a truck out other facilities just to bring here to support the customer, basically.
So your regulars would know that you
I think people have a sense we have a tow truck, but like I say, we don't go looking for towing business, but we use it to support our customers' needs. If they need to get towed, to scared of the cost of towing, we'll support them with a good deal on a tow job.
What would you say sets you apart from other businesses in this industry?
Well, I think the diversity that we can do a lot of things. I think having the wrecking is always a bonus for us, because for example, when we're doing, you know, we just did a job in the shop for a customer down south, and he needed us just to fix his engine. So we ended up fixing his engine, supplying him a few parts for that engine that we would have parted out other engines for. And then in the end, he has given us a lot of business, and we thought, his truck looks terrible. His hood was a mess, and he said, can you CVI it? CVI it? And then it was like, okay, we went in the yard and we could find him a hood. And we actually, in the end...
Well, we donated him the hood. It's a way of showing appreciation. The guy brought us some equipment to work on all the way from south of Vulcan. That's a long ways to come. So it's just one way we do our advertising is by giving to our customers, and it seems to always come back to us. So it's been working out real well.
So in that sense, you know, we can do that, you know, where a dealership may not have that opportunity, right? Because they don't have that in their backyard, and we have that in our backyard. So that's one of the pluses for us in wrecking, you know, in combination with, you know, doing the rebuilding and selling the complete truck. You know, that's a bonus for us that I think we can give added value to them.
That's awesome.
The other fun thing too that I just think it's a fun part of our wrecking business is, you know, typically you say that you want to get 50% of new, you know, for a used part, but you can have a lot of fun, you know, with a customer with that whole concept, because I know we've done some things, you know, where we've flipped a coin or whatever, you know, with them to make a deal, you know, just because it's like, what is it worth? Can you get it? And I mean, nowadays, most dealers aren't even keeping anything for anything that's 10 years or older. So I think there's a huge market for all the wreckers, you know, out there. And that's where I think TPI can help too, because if you can list those parts on your sites, we've just started doing that a little bit, and we're going to be doing it more. Putting those individual pieces from your trucks rather than just putting the truck. If you can get a bit of that detail on there, I'm finding that people are actually hitting on that, and that's making a difference for us, for sure.
Awesome.
So it's learning how to put your parts on too, right? Like, and that's what we're working on too. You know, it's if you can get the part number is always really good, because I find, like, if someone calls me for a part that's 15 years old, they'll be like, well, they'll describe it, but then I'll say, you know, did they happen to give you a part number? And they do sometimes. So then the person sometimes will search by that as well. So if you can get that, that's also helpful to put into your ad. So combination of common day language, you know, that people will say to you when they call, and then the specifics of what that part is. And if you can drill it down to say it came from a 1996 Ford L9000, that's also, of course, helpful. Because some people just know it by what their truck is too.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is our warehouse that we built that
Evolved from a cold storage to
right.
a full-on bore warehouse, so it's multitasking abilities.
So we started it to house primarily like engines, and then we sell in-frame kits and cylinder heads and all those parts. So we've made it so that we have ability to go in between the aisles easily and handle that stuff with our forklift and our, what do you call that thing? Oh, the Joey. The Joey, yes. So that's great, because we invested in those tools to allow us to use the full height of this building. So how big is this building, James?
It's 80 by 140. Yeah, it works great. The machine Ramona was talking to goes down the far aisle, and it goes up and down, and the guy slides the basket full of parts onto the machine. Anyway, it's working out real well for us. So yeah, come have a look.
Okay, so Lawrence has utilized these bins that can house quite a few parts, as you can see, a lot of the small parts, especially because we're going to be tearing down engines, and you could use it for general truck parts as well, and we will be doing that as well in our warehouse. So then we just used a little magnet strip, and then you just write on what you've got and put that on there. So for those who are still visual and want to just see where it is, you can quickly identify that way by part number or by description. Like here, he's got the part number plus a description of what it is, like it's an ISX injector rocker. So then you've got both things. We also put it into our operating system as well by location. Each aisle here has a letter, so like this is section A, and then he's got, each row has a number as well that tells you exactly where that part is. So we've been in our warehouse for a short period of time, so we will get more sophisticated as we go along, but for right now, we've been utilizing these kinds of crates, and then Lawrence uses a system of just putting like a paper with a tag on it to tell you what's in that crate. But as we, you know, get more into it, you know, it'll have more of the breakdowns like this one, showing the individual numbers that are in that crate, because that will help us identify and move things quicker as well. So right now we are still just working on that, but that's our goal. So we've got these kind of crates, and then we also have these other ones over here. So there's a couple different options. We were fortunate enough that a company in the city in Edmonton doesn't like these crates once they're done unpacking them, so we have an ongoing order with them. The other vessel that we use are these totes, and so what's great about them is, especially if you're just still tearing down an engine, you know, there's still some oil and debris and stuff, so these are will contain that. So that's been a helpful tool for us as well in our warehouse.
We have a variety of engines here. We'll take a good takeout engine like this International Max and keep it complete with the starter alternator and flywheel and so on. But we'll also go through, do a tune-up, check the bearings, test run it, clean it all up, paint it up, and make it look just like one of our rebuild engines. Rebuild engines, we always keep a report on them. We have them tagged. We put the TPI tagging system on them as well. And then we have our full rebuilt engine. And sometimes we'll end up with a surplus engine from another company, and this would be one of these engines here that we've gone through and qualified. And every engine we sell has got a warranty on it as well.
Okay, one of the other awesome things now having the warehouse for us is we have a small shop, like it's 4 bays, and it can get congested in there, especially in the winter. And so we instituted this new system where we have crates or smaller vessels, depending on what the job is, for the job. So when the job is finished, or while it's in progress, they can put the parts in here for the customer to look at. And so then Lawrence just keeps a board with whatever's going on, and then the vessel has that name on it. And so then when the customer's done, he can come look at his parts, and then we can disassemble them into wherever they go, whether it's the scrap bin or the back to the core buyer or to the supplier if they require a core. And then that's been super helpful for us in keeping our shop less cluttered and moving our core in an organized fashion. So we're really happy with this new piece in our warehouse. I mean, we used to use the paper ads and all that way back when, and we're obviously evolving from that, and partnering with TPI has been a big part of that for us in utilizing what Scott and his team has set up with having the online presence and having the connection between all the groups, right? And having that, we are using the tag system of TPI and starting to get our parts online, and that to us is the future of where things need to be, especially now that it's COVID and we don't know how long COVID's going to be around. I think that that's one of our best things that we can do, actually. The other part for us is we love to give people gimmies. So gimmies are a huge thing for us. So I like to give people practical things. The best thing that we give is just something little for them when they leave our shop. So we have a shoehorn that you can stand up and put in. That's one of our biggest things.
Steel.
We have hats. You know, things like that. People like that. They like to go away and have something in their hand. A cheap one we have right now, it's just an air freshener with our happy face on, because that's our symbol. Very cheap, probably paid, 80 some cents a piece. And it's just a nice little thing that when people walk out, they get a little smile when they go. It doesn't matter if they bought $20 worth of parts or if they bought 30,000. People just like to have something. And
They smell good too.
and I like to have things that people will use. The other part of that, besides the gimmies, is when people come and do something here in our shop, we do a VIP clean for them. And so with our VIP clean, we call it the Davy Boy Special because David is primarily the person that does the cleaning of the trucks. We have a special acid solution to clean their aluminum on their trucks. So some guys have been known to leave our place or come back to get their truck and not recognize their unit because it's so beautiful when it's done. And so that's something we like to give as value to our customers, and they feel appreciated. And in fact, we attracted a huge fleet out of the Nisku area because of that VIP clean. On the administrative side, for those that are interested in that, we actually have just a spot on our GL that in our operating system, we can actually code a job on our work order to VIP clean, and it just puts it right to advertising onto our GL.
You gotta tell you, if you're gonna get a warehouse, you gotta get a sweeper. I knew nobody'd want to push a broom through this place. When we bought the Joey to get up and down and the forklift to move around, we spotted this sweeper. Best investment for a warehouse. If you want to keep her clean, get one of these babies.
Maybe